And finally, I got the black Barbie. Well, she wasn't a black Barbie. Her name was Dana. She had a big nose, thick hair, and big feet. And she wasn't even wearing heels. She had flat feet. Like, wait a minute. Like, she was a big boned Barbie. She wasn't Barbie. Her name was Dana. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's recap and review Patti LaBelle's Don't Block Your Blessings. Revelations of a Lifetime. He grabbed a brick and slowly, methodically smashed out every single window. First the front, then the back, then the sides, one by one, until there wasn't a single pane of glass left. When he finished, he calmly put the brick down on the sidewalk, brushed the pieces of glass from his pants, and walked away. After seeing what he did to the car in front of the house, Lord only knows what my father would have done if he had seen what was happening to me in the back of the basement. What was happening in the basement was a foul and nasty nightmare. That's the only way I can describe it. Not knowing what to do with my pain, I got a little weird. I don't know any other way to explain some of the things I found myself doing. Let me take a pause on that. Don't ask me why, but for some strange reason, I was drawn to the basement. Not when there were parties and people, but when it was still and silent. When I thought nobody else was around, there was something down there I couldn't resist. Something I could stay away from. It was the smell of the damp cement floor. I loved that smell. It pulled me to it. It drove me a little mad. For whatever reason, I began to crave it. I would sneak down the stairs, get down on my hands and knees, close my eyes, and breathe in as deeply as I could. It turned me on so much that soon just smelling the floor wasn't enough. I wanted more. I needed more. So I began to lick it, to see if it tastes as good as it smelled, and it did. I know how weird this sounds. I never understood it, and to this day I can't explain it. All I know is that I did it, and I kept going back again and again to indulge my secret obsession. So I believe what Patti LaBelle is experiencing is, I do not know what, is it Munchausen? I don't know what it is, but you eat things that you don't supposed to eat. Like people eat chalk, people eat toilet paper, people eat Vaseline. It's like a strange addiction. Remember that show, My Strange Addiction? You're not the only one. And I'm sure the other people who have had that impulse to eat strange things couldn't explain it either. As much as I craved this little thrill, I knew something about it wasn't right. So I was careful, very careful, to make sure nobody knew about my secret trips downstairs. Or so I thought. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think this crazy compulsion would lead to such suffering. I've been so ashamed of the things that happened to me down there that for almost 40 years I have kept them inside. Other than my husband, I have never told a living soul about them. Not until now. Even now, after all this time, it hurts so much to tell the story. A story that plays out in my head over and over again, like a bad dream I can't shake. Don't be scared, Patsy. It is a man's voice coming from the darkness behind me. I'm not going to hurt you. I recognize the voice instantly. It belongs to one of my mother's boyfriends. What are you doing down here, I say, even though I feel that I'm the one with the explaining to do. No answer. Now I'm really scared. He pushes his finger inside me. There's a piercing pain. I am lying there, 1,000,000 miles away, but there, crying silently, waiting for him to finish what he is doing to me down there. I blank out. Did he rape me? To this day, I honestly don't know. I know that wasn't the only time he got me alone and took advantage of me. But how many other times and in how many other ways he violated me, I just can't remember. So this is a dirty bastard, of course, Papa Legba. Any mother hunchy that would be in a dark place with a little girl has got to be pure evil. Whenever I try to call up the memory, my mind just shuts down, goes completely blank. I can only remember the first part of the nightmare. It doesn't take a shrink to figure out the reason. Just as I can't bring myself to remember everything now, I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone back then. Not Chubby, not my father, not a single one of my sisters. I felt too dirty, too guilty, too ashamed. I have always wondered if he did the same nasty things to Barbara and Jackie, but I never asked them. This is what I always wanted to know. Does God take into consideration mental health? Because you know mentally something is not right with that person, and you cannot hold them responsible when their body is controlled by demons. You demon mother. Some kids run away from home to get away from it all. I had nowhere to run. So I took flight in a song. Music was my escape hatch. It gave me something to hold on to when I thought I had lost my father. It gave me something to believe in when I thought I had lost my faith. It gave me something to strive for when I thought I had lost my way. Singing was sort of running away from my secrets, from my sorrow, from myself. How can I explain it to you? Music was like a drug to me. It transformed me. It transported me. It saved my life. Patti LaBelle said early on in the book, she don't know where she would have been without her fantasies and dreams. Me, I don't know where I would have been without utilizing my Barbies. And finally, I got the black Barbie. Well, she wasn't a black Barbie. Her name was Dana. She had a big nose, thick hair, and big feet. And she wasn't even wearing heels. She had flat feet. Like, wait a minute. Like, she was a big boned Barbie. She wasn't Barbie, her name was Dana, but she was beautiful to me. Where would I be without my fantasies? Like, to this day, I know maybe a handful of people, including me, that have been able to turn their dreams or their fantasies into realities. Reading books really does help when it's not a burden to me and it's not, weighing on me and I'm feeling like I have to do it and my wrist is not hurting. I'm so happy because I'm able to make money off what I love to do. For as long as I can remember, music filled our house. It was always there at the card parties. It was always there in my father's serenades. And my older sister, Vivian, made sure it was always there when she got home from work. Vivian loved herself some blues. For her, BB really was king. In the evening before she even took off her coat, the first thing she did was turn on the record player. I remember thinking how beautiful and sophisticated she looked, sitting there singing and smoking and singing. Her voice may not have won her a Grammy or even a recording contract for that matter, but she had something that attracted a fan club from miles around. Pause, that's my honeybee. When I tell you, whenever Honey came to Sursum Quarter to visit our grandmother, and of course me, because I'm the baby, or I was the baby at that time, it was like a rainbow over Sursum Quarter, because all the guys loved her. All the girls wanted to be her. She was beautiful. Honeybee was beautiful. She's older now. She's still beautiful. But she a married woman with kids now. So, she's the same Honeybee, but she's older. Still, Honeybee has got to be, if I'm 52, she's 60. I'm telling you, she still look 48. Her voice may not have won her a Grammy or even recording contract for that matter, but she had something that attracted a fan club from miles around. Drop dead, go to hell, don't speak to me because you know you don't know me looks. All the neighborhood boys had a crush on Vivian. Why not? She was stunning. At 5'6", she was shaped like an hourglass. And she didn't so much walk as stroll. She moved with the grace and power of a lioness. And when she spoke, she purred with this slow, sexy southern drawl. She dressed to kill. Everybody in Elmwood talked about the way she dressed and walked and talked and looked. She was the Countess of Cool. All the guys were jealous of Vivian's boyfriend, Zimmerman. In addition to Vivian, he had something else they all wanted. A 1954 Oldsmobile convertible. With Miss Thing beside him, Zimmerman would drive up with the top down, the radio blasting, and Vivian's hair blowing in the wind. They would stop traffic. The moment they rounded the corner, everything went into slow motion as all eyes turned their way. I wanted so much to be like Vivian. I idolized her. She was everything I longed to be and wasn't. That's exactly how I felt about my honeybee. Man. Maybe I didn't never look like her. Maybe I'd never had a handsome boyfriend who drove a convertible. Maybe I'd never really be that cool and popular, but I could damn sure pretend. Yep. Thank God for Barbie. Or the black Barbie, Dana with the big feet and big hands. Ain't that a mess? It wasn't until I started junior high school, though, that I plunged deep into music for the sake of my soul. One night when I was upstairs playing alone in my room, I heard voices. They were lush and beautiful, and they were coming from downstairs. I understood these voices. My heart recognized their suffering. It was just, as Toni Morrison says, a knowing so deep. I was drawn to these voices, pulled to their source. My body seemed to float down the stairs on their melody. With each step I took, their power, their passion, their pain grew stronger. They were talking to me, about me. We were connecting. When I got to the end of the staircase, I found my brother Junior sitting there in the living room listening to the voices. "Who's that?" I asked. Junior introduced us. Gloria Lynn, Dakota Staton, Dinah Washington, Sir Vaughn. It happened one summer when Chubby took Barbara, Jackie, and me down to Georgia to visit my Aunt Hattie Mae. One of the neighborhood kids came by with a new record. I don't remember what the song was or who was singing it, but I do remember what it did to me. I am resonating with this book because I'm telling you who she is and how expressive she is in this book is exactly how I've always felt my whole life. And if I tried to explain it to a a non-autistic person, they would make me feel corny. Man, I just love all forms of art. Singing, dancing, music, art, expression. Through singing, dancing, and art, I just love it all. It just means so much. The moment I heard it, something happened to me. It was like I went into a trance, like I was back in my bedroom, just me and my fantasy fans. I started dancing. Aunt Hattie Mae says the way I was moving to the music was so hypnotic, so mesmerizing that no one could take their eyes off of me. She on her Aunt Hattie Mae's front porch, doing her thing. People outside looking at her on the porch, cheering her on. Go, Patsy, go, Patsy, go. Once you know that you have the capability of captivating an audience, then you must grab that power and move. Even if you don't move to a place where you want to be, like in front of millions of fans, but you must hold on to your power and use it. After what happened to me on Aunt Hattie Mae's porch, I was different. That fall at Tilden Junior High School, I started coming out of my shell. I was still quiet and shy, but I wasn't running away from people anymore. I had learned that there was something about me they liked, something inside me. I had finally made some real life human friends. Brenda Austin, Sally Burler, Claudette Henderson, Gloria Robinson, Lana Lockman, Marlene, and Gertrude Benton. We all lived in Elmwood, and we were pretty inseparable. After school, we'd hang out at my house or the park across the street. But Tuesdays were different. On Tuesdays, all the neighborhood kids would meet at a local skating rink. That was the night local DJ Georgie Woods, the guy with the goods, spun records. And believe me, when Georgie Woods spun records, you couldn't sit down. I sure couldn't. From the moment I laced up my skates, I was hell on wheels. Literally, I would practically fly around the rink singing and swinging and skating to the music. It was a party. It was during this coming out period when I made a major move, a move to the head of the crowd, a move that would change my life forever. It happened in church, our family church. Beulah Baptist was practically right across the street from our house, just behind the park where the kids hung out. Almost everyone in Elmwood worshiped there. Naomi and Chubby had been members forever, and my sisters and I were all baptized there. The choir was a big deal for the kids in Elmwood. Almost 50 of us joined, even my sister Barbara, who couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. And this tall, really quiet, nerdy kid named Armstead Edwards, who had a monster crush on her. You say what? The Armstead Edwards that she married? Am I wrong? Am I tripping?
Taking a ride on the east side, made a left on MLK. What a beautiful day, what a beautiful day. Riding high on the west side, looking for a hood rat to play. Won't you come out and play? Won't you come out and play? Hey, taking a ride. Hey, hey, on the south side. Ooh, ooh. Hey, hey, hey.